What up, people? It's Nickopz here, and today I'm going to be talking about Johnny Cage and why he's the most overpowered character in the game. Now, yes, I said it, he is the most overpowered character in the game, but I do think Jackie is slightly better than him because Jackie is the only broken character in this game. There's a big difference between broken and overpowered. Johnny is the most overpowered. Jackie is just absolutely broken and busted in every way. But this character is very overpowered, and some people still don't think he is, but I think I realize the type of people who don't think this character is overpowered. We're going to be talking about them in this video. But Johnny is definitely overpowered, and I made a video how this character went from B tier to S tier if you want to see how, because it just wasn't the buffs to, well, the addition to OUTTAKE in the game. It was a lot that took this character to become S tier. But go watch that video if you want to know how he became what he is. Now he is what he is. He's ridiculous. Like, this character absolutely needs nerfs. He has no losing matchups in the game. Like, he loses to absolutely no one. He either 5-5s them or beats them. And let's talk about that. Now, first thing first, Johnny does have one weakness, but it really isn't a weakness. He doesn't have a good mid. Now, let me make this clear, because I had to learn this too. You don't need a good mid if you have a good low and a good high. No, a good low or a good high. He has both. So he doesn't need a mid in the first place. And then, on top of that, they gave him this right here. This right here is an amazing freaking move. I think that this move should not be allowed in MK11. And let me talk about why. The last video I made about Johnny, I was talking about how they could just nerf the projectiles or this. This right here. Months later, I've determined that moves like this need to go. And let me talk about that. Now, I was reading what somebody said once in a Twitch chat, and he was like, Johnny should have this right here because he doesn't have a good mid. And at the time, I thought that was reasonable, but realizing what moves like this do, they just shouldn't be in the game. They literally took it away from Cassie and then just gave it to him. I don't get why they did that. Like, they obviously saw that having this is a little just too much. It really is, and there's no reason for a move like this. Now, if you don't know what a move like this is, this move is a, how can I put it? It is a safe counter poking move. So that gives you access to safe pokes. That's too good in a game around stuff like that. Like, something like this in MK10 wouldn't have been a big deal. But a game where you have no way to armor through things like that, this is too strong. Moves like this shouldn't exist if you're not spending some type of resources to get like stuff off of it. This is just too good. It has to go. And honestly, it should just get the nerf like Cassie's to where you can flawless block it. But maybe they can work their way around it to where they could have this implemented, but you get a more consistent punish. The reality is, this move is punishable, but you're not going to punish it all the time because you're always looking out for the meter burn. And I don't think a move like this should exist. It's just honestly too good. Like, I said this in the last video, if you give if you give any character in the game Johnny's projectiles and this right here, they instantly become top tier. No matter who it is in this game, you give this to Raiden, Shao Kahn, freaking Devore, they will instantly become top tier. Those two tools right there. And I think that's not good character design when you can, they just literally just flooded him, not flooded him, they just gave him two things that really broke him. Not broke him, gotta make sure to say that. Gotta make sure. Made him overpowered. Big difference between broken and overpowered. But they gave him something that just made him overpowered. And that's not right. It's really just horrible. And it should go. Like, I would be fine with them making his projectiles 9 frames again as long as they took this away. This needs to go because you shouldn't have access to a move like this in MK11. You shouldn't. We saw how much, it affected Cassie. But if you're still, good with Cassie, you can still do some stuff with her. She's one of the characters I still play. But when she had that safe counter poking thing, a lot of people complained about it. And I don't get why you would take something from a character and give it to somebody else. That actually makes no sense. It really doesn't at all. He doesn't need to have the mid checks like that because he has a good high and a good low. If they got rid of the viability of this move, Johnny would be just fine. He would still be very good. And if they gave him this 9 frame projectile back, it would be okay. But Johnny is still running around as a freaking menace. And we're going to be talking about that now that we talked about what needs to go. Okay. There's some people out there that don't think Johnny is that good because he doesn't have mids and a crushing blow. I already talked about the mids. The crushing blows with Johnny don't matter. They really don't. The fact that he's still considered this good without having crushing blows should say something to the people who are trying to downplay him because he doesn't have crushing blows like that. That should speak volumes. Character's still top tier and he doesn't have good consistent crushing blows. But good consistent crushing blows don't just automatically make a top tier character. They're something good to have, but they don't make a character just flat out top tier. This character is still amazing without it. Now, another thing about this character, if you don't think, let's discuss the topic that people talk about. Does Johnny carry you as a player? Johnny carries people who play on a higher level than most. I know that's going to sound weird, but if you know what you're doing in MK11 or in fighting games in general, and you have very solid fundamentals, this character will carry you in what he does because he will take those solid fundamentals and then freaking blow them up because the stuff that he has access to. So yes, people who play this character who play on a higher level than most can end up getting carried by this character. So if you're better than average, to put it like that, you can be carried by Johnny. But I think people don't think he's that. The people who don't think he's that good are the people that don't get carried by this character because if you lack fundamentals, you're not going to be good with Johnny. That's what this character is. Now, he can still, cheese you out and ignore fundamentals if he just, spams this right here and you get hit at the wrong times with it or just runs away in zone. But at the end of the day, if you're not using this right here and his low to the best of your abilities or the best way he can, if you're not checking people right with this high, mainly this high, if you're not checking people right, you're not playing Johnny. So that's why I think some people can't really understand why this character is such a menace. He completely controls this range. He controls this range. He controls back here. Amazing anti-air. And he has ridiculous pressure also on the male cast. Females, he doesn't get like that heavy pressure, but his pressure is still amazing in the showstopper variation. This one is more about the zone in, the strike throw, and the neutral control. Showstopper is the pressure variation, and shock jock doesn't exist in MK11. But yeah, that's the thing about the truth about Johnny. Like, this character, this gotta go. It absolutely has to go, and I cannot wait till this character gets freaking normalized because honestly, I've never liked Johnny, but I never let how I feel about this character, affect how I judge him. I never was biased to this character, even when he was B tier, because there's people saying he was better than he was. Like, no, this character was actually B tier. But I honestly never really liked this character. I don't know what it is. He just annoys me. But I'm not saying he's like really hard to fight personally now, because when a character becomes like this top tier, you learn how to fight them because so many people hop on the bandwagon and play them. But yeah, that's how I basically feel about Johnny. This crap gotta go. Just nerf it like Cassie's, or they should find a way to incorporate this into MK11 where it's not broken. I don't know how. And yes, this right here is broken. I'm not saying Johnny's broken, but the access to this move right here is broken. It turns every poke into a guessing game. And your natural instinct as a fighting game player is to counter poke, and he takes that away. And doesn't have to spend resources consistently like that to do it. That's the messed up thing about it. Other characters that can do that, they spend resources to check you that way. This character doesn't even have to do that. And he doesn't even have to deal with the annoying things in MK11 for the most part, because he has this that gets him out of the way of wake up rolls. He has this right here for the restand, so he doesn't have to deal with the wake ups. Like, Johnny is chilling. And this character has absolutely no losing matchups, and he's ridiculous. But yeah, that's how I feel about Johnny. This is the truth about Johnny Cage, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch and my Patreon, and Nickopz out.